Welcome back to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting, a podcast where me, Jason,
and me, Jennifer,
have a few drinks
and talk shit about our kids.
Please follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Guide to Poor Parenting,
and Facebook, TikTok at Poor Parent Pod.
And if you have any funny stories about your kids,
or if you need some bad parenting advice,
please call and leave us a voicemail at 256-274-1329. We're gonna hopefully this will work better in the email.
We'll see. We still have the email, but...
And after we're done recording, one of the... so Jennifer and I occasionally get emails from people promoting some sort of product. Mm-hmm. And we've been hesitant to do it, to have them on. But we're just like, well, if they're parents, maybe we can just go ahead and talk to them about it. Anyway, they emailed me back because I was like, hey, we'd love to have you on. Yeah. Because I'm so bad about emailing people.
And then I usually have to be like, hey, did you email that person?
They did email back and they gave me a list of times for May. So we'll get them on the podcast soon.
I got you. So how's your week been, Jason?
My week has been tiring. I just got back from Texas. My mama wanted to go into Texas. Jennifer's trying to shoo the fat cat into the back bedroom or the back area.
Well, he was at the door, and I open it, and then he's like, oh, I want to go back there. Well, shit, you're going to go back there since you was at the door and made me get up.
Motherfucker.
That's right.
Yes. So I went to Texas. It was my Aunt Faye's 90th birthday on Tuesday.
Oh, she's so
she's sweet. But she looks rough. She is just a skeleton, and like when we walked in, she was just kind of like bent over in her chair. And she could, it was so difficult for her to walk from the couch to the car.
Wow. And
then from the car back into our Airbnb for the little party we had. But she was so appreciative of it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
So,
I'm sure she doesn't get to get out of the house that much.
Yeah.
With her falling and
her weakness.
Her husband being even older than she is. And
yeah.
So, yeah.
But it was good.
I'm sure she loved it.
Oh, yeah. She was super excited. Although my Aunt Glenda... So Faye's the oldest at 90. Glenda is 87. I think she'll be 88 this year. But she was asking my mom, she's like, are you going to come see me on my 90th? And Mom's like, I don't know if I can do it. This was hard enough. And Glenda's like, well, that hurts my feelings. I'm like, my poor mother. They think she is the most...
Maybe flying will be
She
easier.
hates flying worse.
Oh.
Because it's so much more walking. But I don't know.
We can get her... She can take that scooter with her.
Well, she last time we did fly, she got a wheelchair and they zipped her right through security.
Yeah, that's what they should do.
So we'll see. Yeah. And my cousins were all saying, you can come stay with us. And I have a story.
Yeah. So
my cousin Terry found out, she listens to the podcast. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
And hopefully have you on the podcast soon. Anyway, she apparently was listening to one of our podcasts, and I said that I was not close to that side of the family.
Right.
The cousins on that side of the family. And she called my ass out. And she was like, I'm just teasing. I was like, that is the funniest thing ever. It was like, if you come on the podcast, you have to mention that because it was so funny.
Well, and it's like, there's such an age difference because you're the baby and you came... Like, they're more your aunties than your cousins because of the huge age difference. They weren't, born when you were born that you could kind of... Like me and Trish.
Yeah. Like,
Trish is just a year older or 2 years older than me. So it's like, that's different than 20 years. Because you don't want to play with no, 10-year-old or whatever.
Well, I'm closer in age to her daughter.
Yeah.
Her daughter was my first cousin once removed, and it's like I'm her daughter's age, just like 2 years older. So, and I was actually, we were talking about it, and she's closer to my mom's age than she is mine.
Yeah.
She was already married to her husband, and they were at the Christmas party that my aunt was throwing the night I was born.
Yeah.
So they remember when I was born. So yeah, and not that I don't love them. The love is there. It's just that I don't talk to them regularly.
Right.
I think
there's no family reunions. You're not in Texas. Texas is still a big state, so even if you're close to them there, it still wouldn't be like me and my mom being 10 minutes apart.
Yeah.
You know, you could be like 4 hours apart from them or whatever. So,
but I did tell her I have a Wednesday opening for my as Jennifer knows, and probably all our listeners, I have a schedule where I call my aunties one every day during the weekday at lunchtime, and my Wednesdays are usually free. So I'm like, okay, Terry, I'm gonna start calling you
on Wednesdays
because she's 70, or she's 69, I think. But so I was like, all right, I'm gonna start incorporating you into this call schedule.
And then she's going to be like, damn it, I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, I'm hoping she'll come on the podcast. But, man, you talk about a guide to good parenting. Like, her kids are angels. And her, like, never even a whiff of controversy from any of both of her kids. She's actually an adopted mother, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had my cousin, Lauren, who's 2 years younger than me. And then I think they struggled with fertility, so they adopted Kendall about 7 years later.
Cool.
So, yeah. Well, adoption is pretty common and surprisingly in my
family. Yeah, definitely.
Because on both sides, because my aunt Martha adopted a son too. Yeah. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but
runs in the family.
It does. But it was a good trip. It was very tiring. And then as soon as Mom and I were driving back, as soon as we crossed the river, the Tennessee River into the Huntsville metro area, my nose started feeling funny. I was like, ooh.
Welcome to the Valley of Death.
And that's what I was thinking it was. I was like, allergies. Yeah.
Called this the Valley of Death because of all of the
allergies and
that everybody gets, sinus infections and all that shit.
So I was thinking, oh, great. Allergies are kicking in. And then Zay and I went to dinner last night, and I was chewing on some ice, and I've lost a bit of weight recently, so I get cold super easily. So I was like, oh, I'm just freezing because of the ice I've been chewing. Right. Because it's happened. My teeth will start chattering. I've had it before. But we got in the car, and I turned the seat warmer on. I was still cold. So I'm like, oh, this is probably a fever.
This is not from the ice.
So I got home, had me about 102 fever. Took me some Tylenol, took me some NyQuil, and passed out. But I was praying it was strep throat because I woke up this morning with a sore throat, and I'm like, oh, strep throat, good. I can just take some antibiotics, be over it. And frankly, they start working the day I start taking them, so I'll be fine tomorrow. But it's not. It's not flu. It's not COVID. It's not strep. So I'm like, damn it, it's just some virus.
Yeah, I've been dealing with it for a week.
Have you had fever?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know where I think the thermometer is here, to be honest. I don't ever really, but when I get sick, I'm not a fever person. It's more like mornings are hard and nighttime. And I sleep on one pillow, and it's very thin pillow because I kind of like to lay straight, and I can't because then I'm just coughing. So I have to sleep on two pillows, and then that doesn't really help. So yeah.
You at Kyle's sick. He went to Metallica last weekend, I think, up in Nashville. They got sick because it was an outdoor concert. So, yeah.
Good times.
Good times. Well, that's how my week was. How was yours?
My week was good. I got an interview.
Yay. When
for
is it?
The new job or a job outside of my department. It's on Friday at 9:30 in the morning. So luckily it's earlier because the last interview was like 2:00 in the evening or afternoon. You know, you're waiting all day. I'd rather just get this shit over with, you know. But Michelle, I guess my lead, she said that she would go over some of the questions that I had in my last interview and she said I didn't really answer the question, that I was more focused on the work that I was doing to say I know this job, and so. And then I should have follow-up questions at the end of it. So Caitlin gave me a couple questions to ask at the end. Something like, what do you, where do you, where would you like me to be in 6 months if I get this job? Like,
Yeah.
like we're, like she had some really good questions. Like, what do you want from a person for this job?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So they want follow-up questions. I guess you get bonus points for that or whatever. So
I will say the two follow-up questions I always have whenever I do interview are, well, not you. I don't know if it would work. This one would work for you, but I always ask, why do you like working at this company? So I guess maybe, why do you like this department? But the other one I always ask is, if I were, let's say I get this job, and in 6 months, what would me succeeding at this job look like?
Yeah, and that's kind of the 6-month thing that Caitlin had, had said too. So I'm just trying to have to work on my confidence because, but I do better when I applied for I applied twice for another department, and the dude said I did good. It was just experience, the first person, and the second person too, because they were already up in that department. So it wasn't because I said too little or too much or whatever, like my department said. So we'll see. I mean, I have a job no matter what, but
yeah,
it's just.
Hey, I'm knock on wood. I will sacrifice a goat in your honor.
Yeah, it would be a raise, and I would get out of the basement.
Yay.
And I've been in this company for 19 years, and I've worked 6 months of that 19 years.
All but 6 months in the basement?
All but, yeah, thank you. On the basement. So I won't have to climb upstairs to see what the weather's like. I could just walk over to a window.
Windows? What's that like?
Yeah. And we celebrated Mother's Day yesterday with my mom and my sisters. No kids, so that was really nice. Mm-hmm. We all went to lunch together because, today's church. Mama does church, and then they go home, they eat, and they just chill. So she doesn't want to do anything on a Sunday. They really go by that, like, Sunday is
day of rest.
The day of rest. They really go by that. Like Pops is, he's going to help fix my fence, and he was like, I'll do it on any day but Sunday. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're really, so, and, it's really, everybody's going to be going out today. So I was like, Saturday would be perfect. And when we got to the restaurant, they sat us right away. We had to wait on the sisters, because we got there a little earlier thinking it was going to be busy. We got a table pretty quick, and so yeah.
Where'd y'all go?
Olive Garden. Mama likes the noodles.
Hell yeah.
That's...
I like Olive Garden too.
I mean, I like it. It's expensive.
Yeah, they've gotten expensive.
They've gotten wicked expensive, because my chicken, I like the...
Chicken parm?
Parmigiana or whatever, yeah. And it comes with spaghetti, and it's like $23.
Yeah, they've gotten expensive.
And I'm like, whoa, but I didn't care, because it's Mother's Day. But
Mother's Day. I
was like, wow, look at this, This is...
I'm always amazed with Italian food restaurants, because it's like, pasta is not inexpensive.
No.
But like, I'm always amazed at an Italian food restaurant how expensive they are.
Right.
Because I'm like, this is not what I would consider an expensive stuff.
Right.
But
yeah,
whatever.
I like salad. Mm-hmm. And but with no kids, we all got to talk. There was no interruptions. It was just Mama left saying that was nice.
Because y'all got a lot between you and your 3 sisters. You have a lot of kids.
I think it's 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and then one has 5 by themselves. So that gets expensive.
Yeah.
So one of my sisters, she wants to do buffets all the time, and she eats like a bird. I'm like, you're wasting money. At least if you go to a restaurant and you get something, then you can take it home with you, because it's not a buffet. They don't let you take the buffet home, And she's like, you know what? Your mama said the same thing. And I'm like, because it is the truth. I'm not lying. We're not lying. But yeah, good week. Just work and graduations are starting, and I park in a parking garage that people who are graduating park at. So next week, my brother is going to not feed the dogs. Let them out for me, because I always go home at lunch to let my dogs out. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to park, and then when I leave, it's going to be to get out and not be around that traffic, because we had a couple of graduations last week and it was rough. So, yeah.
Well, on that note, my cousin Terry just texted me.
Oh, did she?
She said, thanks, or she was just telling me that we came out, or glad we came out, and she was going to have her daughter listen to the pod.
Oh, that's nice.
So, Lauren, Terry, you have an open invitation. This is a podcast about how we feel like we're doing a bad job always parenting, but you two have done such a great job parenting. Come on and show us how to do a better job.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure they probably had moments where they were like, everybody does.
Everyone does, yeah.
Look back and they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this or whatever,
Yeah. I will say that when you had told us the story, and the thing I'm about to tell you, I've already told you this, but I thought it was so funny that I wanted to repeat it for the podcast. But we were at my cousin Terry's house, and they've been her and her husband are retired, and they've been traveling a lot. They just got back from a river cruise in Europe. They've done several cruises. They been to Jerusalem and to Prague, and anyway, all these places.
Nice.
Anyway,
life goals. That's what I want to do.
And they were showing us this picture, and it was like a panoramic of Jerusalem. And she's like, "Oh, isn't this beautiful?" She's like, "This is from the gift shop of the Olive Garden that overlooks Jerusalem, and it's really beautiful." And I looked at her and was like, "Olive Garden? You've got an Olive Garden in Jerusalem that overlooks the city with a gift shop?" And she looked at me confused, and she's, "The Garden of Olives, the Garden of Olives, not the Olive Garden." It's like, why would a bad Italian American restaurant be in Jerusalem with this great view?
Right. That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell Mama about that, because I think she'd get a kick out of that. Because the Olive of Gardens.
Garden of Olives.
A garden of
the Olive of Gardens.
The Olive of Gardens. There we go. I'm messing it up. I'm gonna have to be like, Mama, listen to this part of the episode so I can tell you what it means.
That's right. All right. I almost forgot.
Oh.
Well, I'll bring it up next podcast.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's
go and make them wait.
That's right. We're going to make y'all wait. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
And we're back. All right, Miss Jennifer.
Yes, sir.
Because I got a little fever and I'm on some prescription, I didn't really want to drink anything. So what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking our go-to, because I'm also a little under the weather, and, the go-to is just nice and
delicious.
I know it's good, and I don't, want to try something new and not. First, I'll probably be able to taste it. But yeah, our the bourbon barrel
aged
Cabernet Sauvignon, the Bota box.
Nighthawk by Bota.
Yeah, the bourbon barrel.
We were walking through Kroger's.
I don't know if we've told this. Have we told this?
I don't know. So Jennifer and I...
it's one of our favorite stories.
Yeah, so Jennifer and Zay and I used to all go grocery shopping together. We kind of got out of the habit more recently, but we would go grocery shopping together, and we're walking through Kroger's, and Jennifer starts going...
Well, because you gotta say, they hadn't had it in a few months.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we looked every single time, and they didn't have it. And all of a sudden, there it is, staring me in the face. And so I went a little... Yeah.
She was like, bourbon barrel. And we were like, what the fuck are you talking about, Jennifer?
And then I had to go to the box and be like, they got the bourbon barrel back. I was very happy they got the
yes, I remember.
Back, because it's inexpensive and it's yummy. So.
And it doesn't, because it's in a it's because it's box wine, it doesn't go bad.
Yeah.
So we love it.
Yeah, we drink enough of it for it definitely not to go bad. But
Yeah.
it, it's not like we have to put a stopper in it or any of that stuff.
Pull out air from it or anything.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Jennifer. So we're doing Reddit posts today.
Yes, sir.
So
I hope you guys like these. I really do. I mean, we don't really get much feedback, so
the numbers are increasing every month. So I think they certainly don't hate it.
Okay, well that's good. And these are blind for me.
Meaning I look them up and put them on the outline for Jennifer.
Yeah.
And
then I read them.
Yeah.
Well, this one seems to be a very short one.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the subreddit parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Film Geek VT.
Yeah, something like that. The user, Film Geek VT.
And the question is, did your parents ever apologize to you as a kid? Do you apologize to your kids? And then it says, I yell at my kids when I'm feeling irritable. I don't like that. I don't like that I do that. Do it. I'm sorry. And I apologize to them every time. And I explain to them what I'm actually upset about and let them know I'm not actually angry at them. Did your parents ever do that for you as a kid? I don't ever remember anyone apologizing to me about anything. But
even your mom? Not that she ever did anything wrong.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, like if she accidentally hit me or bumped me or whatever, she apologized, but not I don't think she was ever. She always says I was easy, so I don't think I ever got like that on her nerves that she would to the point of her doing something where she would apologize.
Okay.
And then my father was an alcoholic, so he's not going to apologize to all the bad stuff that he ever did to me.
So for our longtime listeners, Jennifer has probably PTSD from her childhood and is a mega people pleaser.
Well, yeah, and then I was not ever physically abused, but emotionally and mentally. Like, I remember him calling me like a hoe and a whore and all that good stuff at like 12 years old. And yeah, I don't think he would ever apologize to me. I don't think he ever apologized.
Didn't he call you like right before he died and say something?
Yeah. He, in his own way, he kind of apologized to me when he passed.
Mm-hmm.
Or before he passed. He had stage 4 cancer. I want to say it was like brain, and then it went down to his like stomach, and it just went throughout his body, I think. And he said he hoodooed me.
Hoodooed you?
Hoodooed, yeah. I don't know if that's a military term or not, but it was something that he would say, and that was like his way of apologizing, I guess. But I really don't know.
I know my parents apologized a few times. My dad never blew up at us that much. If we did, we deserved it. I remember my mom slammed the door on my hand one time on accident, and she apologized for that. But I don't remember. No, but I again, it's just the shitty memory I have.
Yeah. I mean, I yell at Wesley. I don't apologize for that.
But you have apologized in the past on some things.
Yeah. I mean, I threw something toward him and accidentally hit him in the head and ran over. I was like, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to hit you in the head. I was trying to throw it on your bed. It was bad aim. But, it's, I guess that was explaining, but it's, I don't know.
I've apologized.
Probably in the beginning, if I yelled at him when I first got him, and I don't know if I would explain to him, because he knew why I was yelling, because he did it. It wasn't irritable. It was because he did something that he wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I've explained some things, and apologized to him before.
Yeah.
But I apologize about everything. Jason gets kind of like, stop. He gets irritable with me for apologizing about stuff that's not really anything that I did. It's me being empathetic. It's, I feel for you. I feel for you. Sorry, but I just say I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's that people pleaser in you.
Yeah. So I mean, I do. I apologize for everything, but that's just like you said, the people pleaser in me.
Yeah. I definitely apologize to Kalia and Wesley. Kalia, I think the one time I really apologized to her was I had bought her McDonald's, and she was eating McDonald's in the dining room, and I was in the office, and they're about maybe 30 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
Maybe 25, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
They're not far, but they're different rooms.
Right. Well, there's a kitchen at laundry room kind of thingy
Utility,
in the middle of you, and then
but
it's a hallway, and then there's the dining room.
Yeah. But I could, I was in my office, and she was in the dining room, and she was just being a little ungrateful shit. She was, just talking to herself, and was like, well, I didn't want this. And, I had just bought her McDonald's, and she's like, well, this is not what I wanted. And talking shit to herself. And
it has to be pretty loud because, I mean, it's a good bit of it's not like, that's not what I
Yeah, no, she was saying it full volume.
Yeah.
And I came out and I snatched it out of her hand and started screaming at her. And I will say I do not insult her. I don't call her names, but I wanted to slap the shit out of her and call her an ungrateful little brat.
Yeah.
But after I cooled down a bit, I pulled her aside. I was like, I'm sorry for blowing up. That was inappropriate, but
you hurt my feelings.
That was, I had to get her on her today because Sandra, my mother-in-law, came over so Zane could take her out for Mother's Day, and I was sick, so I didn't go. But Kalia didn't even bother getting off the couch, didn't say hi until Zane told her to say something, didn't say Happy Mother's Day. So I sat down with her later. I was like, I'm really disappointed in you. That was very disrespectful.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't have to hug her. We're not going to make you hug when you don't want to, but I was like, you're going to greet people when they come in the house because that's just polite manners. And if it's like a big day, like a Mother's Day or birthday, you're going to let them know.
Yeah.
And I was like, and if you don't, if this bad attitude continues, you will be punished. I was like, I will kick you outside with no tablet, no sketch pads, no nothing. You're just going to get to enjoy the outdoors.
Like we did when we were a kid.
Yep. And like we've been doing with Wesley.
That would be definitely torture for her.
Yeah. I was, her grouchy attitude gets...
It's becoming more and more grumpy. And then it's just crazy how it's the car. Somehow we have to figure out a way to get her to transition from one activity to the next activity. Mm-hmm. Because it's couch to car to wherever we're going, full grump. Mm-hmm. When we get to where we're going, happy Kalia. When we get back in the car to go back to the house or wherever, full grump.
Yeah.
Like when we went to Panoply, I was like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore if you're going to continue to act like this. Because we just spent money, had a whole bunch of fun. You can't say you did not have fun. We know you did. And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then we had dinner on Friday, and she wanted to go, and she picked hibachi. Mm-hmm. And Zane had asked her, are you hungry? She's like, not now. So we waited about 30 minutes, and we're like, and Zane even said, hey, 30 minutes we're going, because, it's dinner time.
Yes, we're hungry.
And then grump to the car, to the restaurant. As soon as we get to the restaurant, Auntie Jay sit next to me. She talked throughout the entire meal, just all the stuff. Mm-hmm. Then again, restaurant to house, grump.
Yep.
So, maybe we just need to make her walk to places. Like, we don't want to be in a car with a grump. It's that transition. Somehow we're gonna have to figure that one out because
it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, you might want to bring that up with her therapist because that's where I see it the most. Is that transition.
I agree. If we're interrupting something she wants to do, it is a major grumping attitude.
That's the leave me alone. You know, I don't.
Yeah, and you especially don't do that to Nana.
Yeah.
So
now we're on to Jay.
That's right. All right. So this one is mine. This is from the parenting subreddit, and it's user the Yellow Brother.
Okay.
Hopefully that's not like a racist thing.
I hope not.
All right. The title of the post is "My 11-year-old daughter dresses beyond her age." No, she isn't dressing inappropriately or revealing. She just dresses like a 30-year-old office worker. 30-year-old overworked office worker. She raids my wife's closet and literally looks like a 20-year-old office worker. Black cashmere turtleneck, herringbone blazer, power suit, flared wool trousers, no more hoodies, t-shirts, sport gear, and full-blown professional dress.
Get a girl.
Just browse the online section of J. Crew Women or Banana Republic to get an idea. Not even dressy or formal wear, just like dresses, but business professional attire. And
Get a girl.
And she even goes as far as monotone, like all browns or tan with texture, layering. It was a sudden shift. I don't know what to make of it. Is this a thing now?
I mean,
what a problem to have.
I know, right? Like, I mean, Mama's probably not that happy that she can't find one of the shirts she wants to wear because her daughter got it, But when I read the title, I'm like, oh Lord, she wearing booty shorts, tank top. Nah, she business casual, or not even. She's business.
That's right.
She dresses better than I do for my job.
Let's say I'm in shorts half the time.
I mean,
if she's not doing anything,
I don't think it's not a quote unquote thing that all kids are doing that, but I mean, the kids, they just, around 11, they just wear what they want to wear. It's like, our kids, hoodies in the summer and shorts in the winter, like they're opposites. So,
well, Kalia will wear hoodies during the summer because she doesn't want to put a fucking bra on.
Yeah. Well, Wesley, I don't know what he just, I don't know if that's just because he wants to steal stuff. That might be why he wants to wear hoodies in the summer. But, yeah, kids dress, however they want to dress. Like, I look back at what I was wearing, like, in pictures that I have when I was, like, 11 and 12. Like, I had long socks on with I wore short shorts. Yeah, and I'm like, Mama, why'd you let me out the house like that? She's like, you wanted to wear it. I ain't fit. Mama knows what battles to choose because that's what you want to wear. That's what you want to wear.
I fighting with kids on their attire is usually a losing battle regardless.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think even if we if we had gotten Justin at a really young age, like 7 or 8 or 6, and he started sagging, I wouldn't love it, but I also am like,
I just tell him pull up his britches because it looks like he pooped himself. And I feel like if I say that enough, maybe one day, but you can't stop it.
Yeah, if it's around grandparents, I'd be like, just pull it up around grandparents. Don't sag around your grandparents. But I don't really care that much. Justin does it a little bit, but if I could just get Justin to wear his seatbelt, I'd be fine.
Yeah, that's the better thing. Yeah.
That's the clothing he needs to wear.
That's the clothing we need him to wear, definitely. Yeah. My mom won't let him sag because she'll tell him. Yeah. You know what that means. Yeah. And he'll be like, yeah, you tell me every time. Well, then pull up your britches. Like any of the grandkids that come over, it's like, pull up your britches. Yeah. So. I
don't know. I think it's funny, but tweens, they're just weird. Hitting their stride.
They're weird.
Yeah. They're trying to figure themselves out. Yep. So just go with the flow.
I love it.
Yeah, that is a great problem to have.
I love it. Like, pull up the Banana Republic and J. Crew, and then that's what my daughter's wearing. Okay, get a girl. You getting ready already, that's right. That's, whatever.
She's getting ready to synchronize the business elements. And
yeah, she's going to be an entrepreneur at 13. There you go. Bless her. That's so funny. I like that. I like that one. That was a good one. Was that all of yours?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, so it's my turn. All right, so the parenting subreddit from Stinking Porch 29. Okay. Parents who aren't doing Elf on the Shelf. ... Talk to me. My toddler is getting to the fun age where she is starting to understand the concept of Christmas and Santa leaving gifts. We don't go crazy with gifts in general, but make magic in so many other ways. However, all caps, I hate the idea of Elf on the Shelf for so many different reasons. Nearly everyone I know with kids does Elf on the Shelf. I honestly cannot believe capitalism has trapped us all. How can one even go to school these days without their own elf? If you choose to stick it to the man and not get an Elf on the Shelf, how'd you navigate it? Did it come up with kids at school? Well, my child, when I adopted him, was too old for Elf on the Shelf, so I didn't do it. It was not around when I was a child. I mean, the parents who do it, like, I've seen some really, like, intricate things, but you gotta move that motherfucker every day. Mm-hmm. And then if you have to do all that intricate shit, fuck that.
Yeah.
I can't even remember sometimes, you know, what I did yesterday. How do I remember move this elf? I mean, I don't know how, like, what the age gap is, like, who, because this is a toddler, so I'd be like, you know, toddlers don't even go to school yet, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we got Clay at 5, and she started kindergarten when the year we got her.
Yeah.
But we never did Elf on the Shelf. It was never a discussion, and I would have refused to do it anyway.
I didn't even know about it until I just started seeing, like I said, the intricate, like, you know,
pranks and
like,
shit,
you know, the toilet, and he threw up like Fruit Loops or something like that. I don't know what the reason for him or her. Is it a girl one too?
I think so. But the idea is it's Santa's eyes and ears in the ground to make sure you're acting right.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't give a shit that much.
Yeah.
And B, like, I don't know, like, kids are gonna, like, you can make it magical without doing that kind of crap.
Yeah.
I mean, we never had it, and I had pretty magical Christmases growing up. So, I don't know.
I feel like doing things with them, like our Galaxy of Lights here in Huntsville, and I've seen other places that have, like, places where you can drive through or walk through, and there's Christmas lights at a park or something, or just, you know, driving around, like we used to do back in the day, is drive around and try to find the houses with the Christmas lights on. We would just drive and play Christmas music and, you know, try to find the houses that got, you know, well, go in the rich neighborhoods and see how they did their Christmas lights and have the Christmas music and have a good time. And, you know, you don't have to, like, well, for this thing, it's every day. And you don't need Christmas every day, because you can tell a kid. And you tell the kid 35 or 365, you know, when they're little, you keep doing that, Santa ain't going to bring you no presents. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, why do you need an elf for December or however long the little sucker is?
I don't know. I think my sister-in-law did it with her kids for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I always thought, like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of fucking effort. And I don't know that they give a shit. Or I don't know that the magic of it would, I just found it, like, that's a lot of fucking effort. And I don't know that it would be that magical to me. Yeah.
And like I said, there's other things you can do to make it magical. You don't have to move an elf around.
Have you seen the ones where, like, dad will have, like, moved the elf on a shelf, like, next to a lamp or something, and the face gets burnt off by the light bulb? Yeah. I've seen that on Reddit a few times, where it's like the face is all melted off, and they have to go buy a new elf on the shelf.
That is creepy as all get out. I did see one where they did, like, the elf on a stripper pole, and then they had, like, coins at the bottom. I think that's more for, like,
the adults.
Just the adults to be like, hee, that's funny. I would hope. Anyways.
Wesley was old enough by the time you got him. He really wasn't believing in Santa Claus, was he?
said he believed.
Just the first year, though, right?
2 years, I think I got.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure because it was, when I got him, because, he's been lied to so much in his life. I don't lie. I told him, I'm not going to lie to you. Mm-hmm. So you ask me a question, no, I'm going to give you the full answer or what I think is the truth, So like, do you like my haircut? No. That's my truth. It's just an opinion, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, it's wonderful and lie. That's not what I really think. So he had asked about another holiday. I can't remember which one it was, but I was like, do you want the truth?
I think it was Tooth Fairy.
Oh yeah, the Tooth Fairy, because he's still losing his teeth. Mm-hmm. And I was like, do you want the truth? And he was like, no. Yes. No. And then we drove a little bit, and then he was like, yes. I was like, okay, I'm the Tooth Fairy. So now you don't get no money. And he's like, what? And I'm like, well, there's not a Tooth Fairy. For real, I'm the one that has to go in there and put the money underneath your pillow. I don't want to do all that. I'd be asleep. And so I think he lasted 2 years just because he didn't want the answer, but he still got the same amount of presents. And I told him that too. I was like, look, Santa's going to bring you not the extravagant gifts, because I never believed in Santa giving the Xboxes or the PlayStations or any of that stuff, because not all kids can get that from Santa.
Yeah.
So Santa's bringing you like clothes or something, but not something that is really, really expensive.
Right.
Because when all those kids go to school, Santa got me an Xbox. What did I do that Santa did? Santa brought me a pair of drawers because Mama can't afford extra presents that, are extravagant presents. So I never, ever believed in Santa. And that's my fucking money.
You're going to thank me, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's how I feel about Santa.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But, like, filling the stockings up and surprising them with that. It was just, I still filled the stockings with the same stuff. And I was like, it's not Santa, it's me. But it was like a, one of those chocolate ball, and you make hot chocolate. Candies, and he would love it. And then when he had, like, the Santa one, it came up, like, maybe 4 or 5 times over a month period where he's like, yes, I want to know. No, I don't. Yes, I want to know. And then finally he was just like, just tell me. And I was like, I'm Santa. And he was like, so no more presents? And I'm like, well, you're still going to get presents. Just know it's all from me. It's always all been from me since you've been with me. And that's it. It's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. Yeah. You don't get extra presents because, Santa, it's still the same thing. It's just a couple things that Santa does, quote unquote, is what Mama does.
Yeah, we did Santa for probably till she was about 8, maybe 9. But for several years, she was like, Grandpa, is Santa real? And I'd be like, well, what do you think? And she'd be like, I think he's real. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's perfectly valid belief. Yep. I would try not to lie to her about it, but I was also not going to be like, but at some point she figured it out, and I always do. Mm-hmm. But the Tooth Fairy was the one that always tickled me because she, I guess I was putting money under her pillow, and I turned on her car. She has a rug in her room, and I turned on it, and it looked like a high heel, like a small, like 3-inch long high heel had stepped on the carpet and left it. And she's like, that's the Tooth Fairy's high heeled shoe. And she said that for years. And I'm like,
what were you wearing that?
I like I said, I think I just I was turning, and maybe it left in some, I'm not sure what happened.
Were you wearing your high heels?
But I wasn't wearing 3. I mean, when I say 3 inches, it was like literally like that big. It
went into the carpet that much?
No. It just looked like,
stiletto imprint, like the little.
No, the stiletto, the heel, but also the toe.
Oh.
Yeah, it looked like it looked like a fairy was wearing 3-inch.
I'm just trying to figure out how your big ass.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming what happened was I like when I was stepping.
Or she was.
I don't think she did it, but it doesn't matter. Right. But that was for years. She was like, "Oh my God, the tooth fairy's real," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, and then when I told Wesley that I was Santa, I was like, "Okay, now you are now part of the club. You cannot tell anybody, any kid, that Santa's not real.
Yeah, I remember that.
You have to keep
the magic alive.
Keep the magic alive for them, because you don't want to ruin someone's magic."
Mm-hmm.
And I was mostly worried about him telling Clea because he's an ass.
No.
But I was like, you have to keep the magic real for the little ones because you believed.
Yeah.
But you should not ever take away that from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm part of a club. And I'm like, yeah, you're like with the adults now. You're not an adult, but you're with the adults because, man, you tell that kid you're an adult, he thinks he's a 21-year-old in a 14-year-old's body. I mean, child's crazy, but yeah, but I had to, because I was so worried that next day, Clea, Mama just told me Santa ain't real and she don't lie to me, fuck,
I can see Wesley doing that.
Yep.
All right. So our last one is from the Millennials subreddit, and I just saw this one and I was like, oh, this is perfect because this is very much Jennifer and I's childhood.
Yeah.
So the title of the post is, did parents in the 80s and 90s allow their kids to roam freely? And the post says, I'm Gen Z from outside of US, but I've heard older American people said back in the 60s that was very common. So I'm curious to hear from millennials. How was it for you guys back in the 80s and 90s? Were you guys always roaming free on the streets, and did your parents didn't care? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was our childhood.
Yeah.
Like we
water hoses. I don't remember how we ate, for real. Like because this has come up at work with some of the younger coworkers, and I'm like, I don't know where we ate or how we ate because I don't think we were allowed inside the house, but yes.
Yeah.
But I did it in America and in Germany. I roamed freely in Germany when we lived there,
mm-hmm.
and then also when all my family pulled in to fly me over, and I'd go from my aunt's house over to my uncle's house to my opa to my oma, riding train, cars, mm-hmm. subway, buses. It didn't matter. I'd just go.
Yeah.
And then here, when we lived in Huntsville, yeah, get the kids, get on the bikes, just go.
Yeah, I mean, I remember growing up in Austin, we were in a big neighborhood, and we had a pool in the neighborhood, and there was a lifeguard, so I would, during the summer, I would just spend almost my whole day there.
I would have loved that,
and,
but we didn't have pools.
And yeah, I was just and my parents would just be back in time for dinner. I knew what dinner time was, so I would just be back in time for dinner.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we didn't have watches or phones or anything to tell us what time it was, but you knew when those streetlights came on, you had to be home.
I don't remember. My parents.
That was us.
Yeah. Well, my parents didn't. They just said be home for dinner. But I never was. I was never locked out. But that's just what I did. I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna go and play. For years I did that.
I don't know if I was locked out. It was be home when the streetlights come on, because you didn't want to be inside.
Yeah,
because you had to be inside when it rained.
Mm-hmm. But there was nothing to do.
Wait.
I mean, you could watch TV, but if it was during the day, it was like you're gonna watch soap operas
and game shows.
Yeah, and towards the end, as I got a little bit older, I did watch game shows, and as cable came in, I watched a bit more TV. But I mean, I know several kids that was we would get home before the parents did, and we would just I was in probably elementary school, maybe at least junior high, where I would just be home alone by myself, no problem.
Yeah.
So. Well,
it was, when it rained, you just built forts with couch cushions, and you used your imagination, and because like you said, TV really, you had 4 channels.
Yeah.
And then when you got too old for PBS, Sesame Street and, mm-hmm. Mr. Rogers and stuff, it was oh my God, please stop the rain. Let's go. Because we just wanted to go ride our bikes. Let's go,
mm-hmm.
because we would spend hours because it was when I was, I want to say it was, I guess it was 12 and 13. No, I don't remember. It was around that time. We lived right near my elementary school, and we would go into the woods. There was like it wasn't many woods, but there was lots of pine needles because we lived on Pinedale, I think it was. So pine trees everywhere. But we would rake a trail. And then we would make sure that we found like the big roots so we could pop them up, pop up on our bikes.
Oh, okay.
And so we would do a trail, and we would just do that forever until it, until all more pine needles fell, and you don't have your trail no more. Then you have to do that again. And then around that same time, I would go door to door and ask people if they wanted me to rake their pine needles, and they'd pay me. And that's some hard work right there, rake. But yeah. And then I babysat and got paid doing that at like 12. So I tried to make some money when also.
Yeah.
And I'm 12 years old doing this. So, I mean, yeah.
And it was pretty common.
It was very common. Yeah. That's the latchkey kids,
Yeah. And it's very unusual nowadays to see kids just roaming around the neighborhood. We certainly don't have it here.
I have it at my house.
Yeah. Well, you also have some baby kids.
Yeah.
But
but they're roaming at night too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of scary, and they're like middle schoolers.
Yeah.
And younger.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and everybody else had the same thing. It's all like we just had to come in when it got dark.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was a particularly American thing. Like you said, I think I've heard of I would imagine that like British kids and French kids and German kids all do the same thing. It's
and then in Japan, isn't it like a rite of passage for like a 5-year-old to like walk somewhere?
3-year-old.
To the
grocery store.
Grocery store or something like that. So I mean, I don't know if they do it now, but I've heard of that.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I was in Germany, no one like looked at me and like, "Are you lost?" Because well, first off, I knew what I was doing, so I had that air of confidence that I know when to stop the bus or whatever to get off to go where I was going, but. Yeah, no one looked at me funny for me just walking around.
I remember when I got to high school, before I got my driver's license, probably like freshman year, I would take I would take public transportation from school, not because I went to a private school. They didn't have school buses,
right?
But I would take the Austin city bus from school to the mall near my house and just hang out for like an hour or two, and Mom would just come get me. And there were plenty of kids roaming wild at the mall.
Oh, the mall was the place to go make out in like the little secret corner.
I never did that.
Oh, I did. I had many a quote unquote dates
Jennifer
at the mall where we go make out in like a little corner somewhere. Yeah, the mall was the place to go on dates.
Do you are you old enough to remember smoking sections in malls?
I mean, I know that there were, because my father, whenever I had to get clothes, he would just be either at a restaurant that had a bar, if that did have a restaurant in it, or he'd be in he'd drink while I'd go buy clothes.
There was in the mall that I grew up in, there was a section that was the smoking area, and it was like, it wasn't like,
ventilation, right?
No, it was just like it was just an area.
Just a corner.
It wasn't even a corner. It was it was a central spot in the mall, but it was like, okay, this is where the smokers are, and you could smell it as you got closer, but it was, Yeah,
I was telling, I think it was Kalia about smoking on the airplanes back in the day. There was not a smoking section on the airplane, so you could be in a 5-row, and the person in the middle is just smoking. And then sometimes there'd be cigars, and especially on the long flights from America to Germany, God, You know, it was way different than it is now.
Yeah, the college I did my master's at, some of the buildings were so old, they had ashtrays built into the walls.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Or like the old cars with ashtrays in them.
Mm-hmm. One of my cars I had actually did use the ashtray for a bit because I was a smoker at the time.
I used it as a
Coin thing?
Yeah, and I just out the window.
And
then just field strip it and then just put it in I had like a little smokeless ashtray because I didn't want my mom to see the butts in the ashtray.
I remember one time I was smoking in my car and I flicked it out the window and it flew back in and flew behind it, not in the back seat, but like behind me. It got in between my back and the chair, and I was like, "Oh, I'm hot!" all of a sudden, and then I pull over, and there's a big old melted spot in my car seat
and your shirt, most likely.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, good times.
Good times. The 90s.
Yeah,
they were great. All right, so we're gonna come back. We're gonna go on a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're back.
You're back.
Where are we? Oh,
snack time.
Snack time. So you did our cocktail, so I will introduce her. You're sick too, but you want to drink. I'm sick. I don't want to drink. Well, partly I took a sip for the video we did before this, and I was like, oh, this doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
The medication.
Your taste buds changed on your medication.
But while Mom and I were in Texas, we went shopping and got snacks for the Airbnb, and I got some knockoff Thin Mints. So I'm nibbling on some of my Thin Mints.
Those are your favorites.
They are my favorites.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've had our cocktail. And I just closed my outline.
Story time.
Story time.
Story time.
What's your story time with Jennifer?
So, my work sometimes does like, if they have enough ticket, like, the local sports venues. So we have a baseball team, we have a hockey team, and now we have a soccer team. Mm-hmm. And we used to have a soccer team back in the day, and it went away. And then now, I mean, the stadium is gorgeous compared to what it used to be back in the day. It used to be our soccer stadium, but then they built, a baseball stadium, but then they built another baseball stadium. Anyways, so they give out tickets sometimes, and I had asked Kalia if she'd like to go see a soccer match with me, and she was like, yeah, that'd be fun, because she's been talking about wanting to do soccer again. Mm-hmm. Like, she really likes it. Like, she plays at school, and she's really enjoying it. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'll see if I can get us some tickets. So, it was actually on my birthday, because I took Friday, so my birthday was on Thursday. Mm-hmm. I took Friday off, and I emailed the lady that usually does the tickets, and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I was just wondering if you guys have already, given the tickets to the people or, announced it or whatever. And she's like, oh, yeah, we did. I'm so sorry. You didn't get picked.
Chosen,
the raffle.
It's like a lottery, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, well, what about June something or another? And I was like, well, I don't know her schedule. It was for, my niece really wanted to go. So I'd have to let you know. But, I can let you know when I get back. I'm off tomorrow. And she was like, okay. And then about 10 minutes later, I get another email. And she's like, woohoo, I got 2 tickets for you. And I'm like, yay. And so my work actually does a little table thing where we're talking about our new computer system that's coming up that we're going to go into. And then we have like a wheel that the kids can spin, and they can win like a notebook or a lantern or a flashlight or a cup that changes colors,
Fancy.
Little things with our logo on it. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, if you'd like me to help you, I can come a little early, that way, my niece can kind of just run around. She doesn't care, or she can sketch, whatever she wants to do. And the lady was like, that'd be great. So I go, and she has an 11-year-old as well, and Kalia, and then her daughter just hit it off, like straight away. Well, people started coming in, and I had let my coworker that, gave us tickets, I had let her go get a drink. Mm-hmm. So I'm manning the table, and the kids are supposed to be helping me, like, give the prizes out, and they're just over there, just boop, 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 just blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, give me a lantern, because it was the furthest thing away. Mm-hmm. Why was he going to give you a lantern? I was like, your mom said that you were supposed to actually be helping me do all this. You want me to tell her you're not? I'll give you a lantern, So yeah, they're just, running amok, and I'm helping, and, little kids, doing all that stuff. And then we were VIP technically, so we got to go on to the field, which I thought was kind of like a meet and greet. When I think of VIP, it's like maybe like go out, meet the players, maybe kick the ball around a little bit. It was just us standing in front of the scoreboard watching them warm up. So I was like,
okay.
The kids are kind of bored. So I was like, hey guys, do you wanna go back? Yeah. I was like, okay. And so I had to pee, and I don't like Kalia out of my sight. And I don't know this little girl, first time I ever met her, and I was like, guys, I have to use the restroom. Would you please stay right here? There's bubbles, go do the bubbles, but please don't go too far, okay? Mm-hmm. So like I'm rushing, peeing, washing hands, just trying to get out, because you know how I am with my baby girl. They still want to pop bubbles, and I'm like, okay, well, we got to go back to figure out, what we're doing now, because I think the match is about to start. So we get back to the table, and I'm like, do you need us anymore? Is it time to go down for the match? And and the lady was like, no, we're good. You can go on down. And so I was like, all right, baby girl, let's go. And then the other little girl just started following us, and I'm like,
you sure you can come?
Coworker, I don't care, but she didn't ask, can your daughter go with us? Like, she's just following us. And my coworker was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Because the food's down there too, because they fed us. And so, like, she just, all right, I'm, Mother Goose, let's go. And so,
come on, Mother Goose.
When we got down, it said we were in a box. And so I'm thinking, like, we're covered, and like we get to, like, it's really cool. Man, we're on the ground floor where the field is. It's on concrete. There ain't no box. There ain't nothing covering us.
Oh, man.
I'm like, so we're just on the other side. Like, middle is the best place to be so that you can see both sides of the field. We're on one side.
Well.
Like, floor. So, like, you can't even hardly see unless you're tall like me, the other side. So I'm like...
A shitty box.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is different, but it's free for I paid $13 a park, whatever, Clea wanted to watch a soccer match, I thought. And so I wipe off the chairs, and there's not enough chairs for everyone, so I'm standing and I'm eating, watching the soccer match while my coworker's daughter and Kalia are just like right next to each other because I gave them the chairs, and they're just blah, 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 num, 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 blah, 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 num, 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 like focused, hardcore on each other. And I'm like, all right. So I'm eating, and I'm talking to another coworker, because this is all coworkers that got the tickets. And I'm explaining soccer to them, and, Kalia and the coworker's daughter is like, can we have another one? Because it was like one hot dog and one hamburger. And I'm like, I don't know how many they got, baby girl. So let me go up there and ask, because when they're working on the table, they're still there. So I walk up all these stairs, go over there, and I'm like, the girls are still hungry. Can your daughter have another hot dog? And, Clea have a hamburger? And she's like, well, I didn't really get that many extras, so let's just wait. And I'm like, okay. She's like, but there are snacks on the other end. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I go back downstairs. Like, I walk so much. And so I'm like, I don't know what snacks they want, because they had like trail mix and like flavored popcorn and pretzels. And I'm like, up more stairs, down more stairs. Come on, kids, up more stairs. Da, da, da. I'm like, get your snack, go back. And then they did get to get some extras because I guess they were hungry. They
had enough.
Everybody else had enough, and so they got to get more. And then chips came, and so they had a good time. And but I just thought it was so funny because Leah was like, "Yeah, I like to go to a soccer match," and then she didn't watch nothing. And then it started raining, and so it was raining all that morning, like hardcore. Like that was the day that I said, let the rain go down before I come over here. Mm-hmm. And it just didn't ever stop. So I just kind of ran to the car. And so it had been raining all day, and it started sprinkling and then stopped. And then it was half. And then so with soccer, it's usually 45 minutes plus additional time. And then you have half, which is about, I think, 15 minutes. And then they do another 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it was already like 8-something. And I'm like, she needs to take a shower. She needs to get a good night's sleep because she's going to space camp next day. So I was like, baby girl, we're not going to watch the full match.
Right.
I need to get you home. And she's like, why? I was like, well, it's because it's 8:17 right now. And she's like, really? I need to get a good night's sleep. And I was like, that's what I was thinking too. You got to take your shower. You got to get ready for space camp. So, but she had a ball.
Oh, good.
She had a good time. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not like a funny story, but it was fun to have that, experience with her, even though she didn't really watch.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I remember I took John to a soccer match here at UAH one time, mm-hmm. and I paid to get in, and a friend of his was there. He's like, can I go sit with my friend? So I'm like, so I'm just going to sit here all alone. He's like, yeah. So I literally I was like, all right, I'm going to be sitting over here on the bench, on the seat. And he was off with his friend the entire time. That little fucker would do that all the time. He'd be like, can you drop me off at my friend's house? And I'd be like, no, you're hanging out with me, motherfucker. I was like, I busted.
Why don't you ask your mama then?
Yeah, I was like,
why the
fuck are we even doing anything?
Right.
If you're just going to ignore me.
Right.
But yeah, I eventually was just like, oh, whatever, here, just go. I'm going to go get dinner and fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I was going to buy you dinner, but you go to your friend's house, I'll eat dinner, come pick you up, take you back to your mama's. Mm-hmm. Don't think I'm feeding you, though.
Nope. Oh, these kids.
Yep.
All right. Well, for all our listeners, if you have any funny stories about your kids,
or if you need some bad parenting advice, or if you have any ideas for topics,
email us at Guide to Poor Parenting,
or call us and leave a voicemail at 256-274-1329.
And thanks again for listening to another episode of A Guide to Poor Parenting.
If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening on.
Shit, I didn't redo my closeout. And if you don't like our podcast, just like when our kids ask
to go to a soccer match to watch, and then they don't watch it.
And they say, why do we gotta go?
Right?
Tough shit.
Tough shit. You just left me here.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.